Who the hell are you?
A remnant of a time long past.
There has been an awakening.
It's the Riley and Kimmy Show.
Have you felt it?
Well, hello out there. It's me, Winnie the Pooh. And don't forget to remember to stay tuned to the Riley and Kimmy Show. And don't forget to remember to keep on bouncing, says Tigger.
And we're bouncing right here in the Riley and Kimmy Show studios. I am your host, Patrick Riley. Right next to me is the Tigger of all bouncing.
Kimmy! I got one name. Kimmy!
A strange woman who left her mark on all of us, who crossed her path.
Do not cross Kimmy's path, right? I mean, don't cross. Don't be the black cat to Kimmy. Don't cross Kimmy's path. Don't do that. Not at all. Please don't. Warning. She changes on me, just like a transformer. Goes through a whole thing. I'm kidding. You do not.
Okay.
You are the sweetest person I know on planet Earth. You are an angel.
Well, thank you.
An angel to some and a devil to others. Yeah, there was some line like that, one of the old Hellbound Hellraiser. I can't remember the exact line that Pinhead would say, an angel to some, a demon to others. Yeah, that just, that's Kimmy. No, I'm just kidding. Episode 430 is underway. The place for all kinds of escapism, nerdism, pop culture. That is what the Riley and Kimmy Show is all about. Be sure to go to our website, RileyandKimmy.com, for updates around the clock of nerd information. It might be about comic books, movie stars, swimming pools, and TV shows, DVR stuff, DVDs, comic book stores. That's what the Riley and Kimmy Show is all about. Cosplay. Matter of fact, we even have a field reporter who goes to various conventions and gives us reports. And he is called the Professor of Cosplay. And another thing we talk about is old-time radio, and we also talk about toys and collectibles, a wide range of nerd things, and just trips down memory lane, and also what might be happening in the upcoming days in the world of nerddom, upcoming movies, TV shows. That's us. So be sure to tell your friends if this sounds like something you like. Tell them about the Riley and Kimmy Show. Make sure you share our website and be sure to friend us on all social media, because if you do friend, follow, or like, guess what? We follow back. We're sort of like a cyber tick. If you friend or follow us, we lock right on. That's us. We're there for the ride, man, and we hope you are too, because it will be a wacky ride with the Riley and Kimmy Show. Now, Kimmy, it just happens to be somebody's birthday coming around the corner who is, so important in the world of pop culture and also doing so many good things for mankind. This individual also worked in the world of old-time radio. Matter of fact, vaudeville. Started out at the age of 5.
Wow.
At the age of 5, his parents took him on the stage, and this person is...
Will the real Jerry Lewis please sit down? There goes Jerry Lewis.
Do you remember that cartoon, by the way?
No.
That's from your childhood, actually. Filmation, who did, a lot of the superhero stuff and that I love. They did a Jerry Lewis cartoon. Back, I think it ran from right around 1970 to 1972.
Okay.
On ABC TV. Matter of fact, Jerry Lewis, as a cartoon character, by the way, was in, things like superhero cartoons. He would show up dealing with villains and sometimes the superheroes, all kinds of weird things. They interjected him in all kinds of stuff. That's just how popular he was. Now, why are we talking about Jerry Lewis like that? It's his upcoming birthday. He has a birthday just around the corner, Kimmy, on March 16th. Now, my question for you is, how old will Jerry Lewis be on March 16th?
82?
Is that your final answer, Kimmy? You think he is younger than, let's see, William Shatner, younger than Adam West, and younger than Stan Lee?
Yeah.
But older than Lee Majors?
Yeah.
That answer again was 82, correct?
Yeah.
That's incorrect. He will be 89 years old.
Oh.
But you were kind of in the right, age bracket, I guess.
I would have been right 7 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go back in time. And I'll ask that question, okay? Jeez. Oh, I was right. Is that how you used to handle math problems in school? Well, I would have been right in a story problem if he hadn't left at 4 o'clock.
I'm always early, so...
You You're always early? Oh, yeah. Okay, you're the one that's always on time. I forgot. Or a little bit early. Yeah. Yeah, that's Kimmy. Sure. Anyway, moving back to Jerry Lewis, to give you an idea of just how long he has performed. His father was a master of ceremonies and vaudeville entertainer, and his mother was a piano player for a radio station. And Jerry Lewis started performing at the age of 5 and would often perform alongside his parents in the Catskill Mountains in New York State. By the age of 15, now see if this reminds you of more of a modern era comedian that he might have influenced in a way. By the age of 15, he had developed a record act in which he mimed the lyrics to songs on a phonograph on stage. Andy Kaufman, Mighty Mouse, and things like that. Don't you remember Andy Kaufman? That was one of his original bits. Kind of reminds me of that. I wonder if Kaufman saw that or heard about that, or maybe Kaufman, because he was just brilliant, maybe he came up with the two on his own. Anyhow, Jerry Lewis dropped out of high school in the 10th grade to perform, which I wouldn't have guessed that, actually. Now, Lewis initially gained fame with what singer, Kimmy?
Dean Martin?
That's right. Dean Martin served as straight man to Lewis's zany antics in the Martin and Lewis comedy team. Now, the pair distinguished themselves from the majority of the comedy acts of the 1940s, which some we do play here on the Riley and Kimmy Show with the Old Time Radio Show. Theirs was a little bit different because they relied on their interaction together instead of planned skits and bits. And now, in the late 1940s, they quickly rose to national prominence, first with their popular nightclub act, next as stars on their own radio program. Within a year of their first act together, they went from earning between $150 and $175 a week, that was at one club, to making $30,000 a week as a team at the Copacabana.
Wow.
Think about that. In the 40s, that kind of money? Whoa! Now, as Martin's roles in the films became less and less important, they did a ton of films, I think like 14 together or so. Well, he became less and less important over time. Their partnership started to get a little strained there. Now, Martin's diminished participation became an embarrassment in 1954. That's when Look magazine, now this would be one to kind of find. I hang out at some collectible places. I wonder if our friend Jim at Carousel's Collectibles in DeLand might have this. Or maybe we'll find it at the Daytona Beach comic book collectible show we're going to in June, just one of the places that comes to mind. That's when Look magazine used a publicity photo of the team for the magazine's cover, but they cropped Martin out of the photo entirely.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? Here's the partnership of Martin and Lewis, and there's no Dean Martin in the photo. Now, the partnership ended on July 24th, 1956. Testing the team's popularity, though, get this, they're also in comic books. So, hey, comic book nerds, pay attention here. This is how important Jerry Lewis is. Now, DC Comics published the best-selling The Adventures of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis comic books from 1952 to 1957. That'd be something to look for at a certain comic book, collectible show. Maybe up in Jacksonville that's going on. If you're listening to this the day this is uploaded, Jacksonville, Florida has one. The Comic Book Connection has a big comic book show. Oh, maybe, Daytona, you'll find that at the collectible show we're going to. And even our friend in DeLand we just mentioned, Jim at Carousel's Collectibles, he has an occasional vintage comic book that comes through his store. Now, The Adventures of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, I said, ran from 52 to 57. But then, when that split up happened, DC didn't give up. No, they featured Jerry Lewis solo in The Adventures of Jerry Lewis in a comic book until 1971. That's a long time when you think about it. Now, Lewis was sometimes featured with Batman, Superman, and various other DC heroes and villains in the comic books. And that inspired Filmation Cartoon Production Company to make a 1970 series called Will the Real Jerry Lewis Please Sit Down? With Jerry as the one reality-based character alongside other fictitious ones, including fictionalized Lewis relatives. And it aired from September 12th, 1970 through September 2nd, 1972 on ABC TV. But what's interesting is Jerry did not voice himself. The person who voiced him, I have a feeling you will not know the name, but you know the actor from your childhood. The actor's name is David L. Landers, who did the voice. Now, can you tell me who David L. Landers is? He did the voice of Jerry Lewis. That was Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley.
Oh.
Yeah, he was doing voiceover work before Laverne and Shirley.
Okay.
Cartoon stuff and that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And if you listen to the cartoon, by the way, we have a sample of this cartoon. You might have no clue what we're talking about. I know Kimmy doesn't know about it, and I didn't want to show it to her ahead of time because the show here, we don't prepare her with anything. And I have it right on our website at RileyandKimmy.com. I have the opening and closing of it, and there's a little bit of a sample of Jerry Lewis there as well. And to me, it was very hard to tell that isn't Jerry Lewis. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, he actually had it right on. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to check out. But something else really cool to check out is Old Time Radio, the Martin Lewis program. It is fantastic. And we like to focus on old time radio from time to time here, the theater of the mind. And as you can tell, Jerry Lewis was a major, important thing, even in the world of comic books, and so was Dean Martin. And by the way, I love these two together. I really do. They're magical. Mm-hmm. I just can't imagine being back in that time period watching them for the first time, because I have a feeling they were, to a lot of people, yeah, there was Abbott and Costello and stuff like that, but this was a different thing. There was a different energy between these two. And also you had the gifted Martin. His voice was, I could go on hours about Dean Martin. I wish there had been even more of a focus for the man, because I think he's one of those that could have even been bigger, and but he was a big actor too. I mean, he's done some powerful films. Forget about the Matt Helm ones. He did the James Bond knockoffs. Did you ever watch those, Kimmy?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, I as a kid grew up with the Matt Helm ones. They run them to death on TV. I didn't like those so much. I liked Our Man Flint by James Coburn better than those. But Martin did some other stuff. It was very powerful. He was talented as an actor as well, very gifted. But that voice, that voice, I just wish he could have taken it to another stage. Mm-hmm. I don't mean performing stage, just more of a focus, more of a drive with it, even more. And maybe, who knows? Maybe in some universe he did. Anyhow, the two of them together, fantastic. This is when they were still getting along. This is before that cover of the magazine that kind of basically did it for the two, the split up. And I thought we'd go back in time with a special guest star on their show. And horror fans, look out. Movie fans, because the special guest star is Boris Karloff. Mm. So you're going to get Boris Karloff interacting with, out of his mind, Jerry Lewis. And by the way, I think if you're a fan of Pee Wee Herman, you got to love Jerry Lewis, because I think Jerry Lewis, especially in the 50s and the 40s, influenced Paul Rumid's, in Pee Wee a little bit, just a little bit. I'm not saying it's a theft in any way. I just think it was an influence, and so many others Lewis influenced. This will be a treat to the ears, safe for the entire family. Please enjoy. It's our gift to you and our way of celebrating Jerry's upcoming birthday here on the Riley and Kimmy Show.
And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Dean Martin.
Hi, folks. Much. Well, it's HR for the old Martin and Lewis troupe, and all the familiar hands stand ready to embark on another mission across the NBC airwaves. So, Rich, let's go. And now, Dean!
Hey, Dean! Hey, Dean, I got a question, and I'm really puzzled.
Well, what's up, Jerry? What's puzzling you?
Well, you know that new singer, Johnny Ray?
Yeah?
Well, I can't figure it out. All of a sudden, this guy's a big star. He sells 4 million records. Radio wants him. Television wants him. The girls go crazy for him. And the money is coming in hand over fist. Well, all I want to know is one thing.
What's that?
What the heck's he crying about?
Jerry, Johnny Ray doesn't always cry. He just cries when he sings.
Oh, I get it. You don't sing so good.
Oh, don't talk crazy, Jerry. Johnny Ray sings very good.
Oh, then you should be crying.
Now, look, Jerry, Johnny Ray doesn't bother me any more than Jack Benny bothers you.
Good heavens, I didn't think you felt that miserable.
If you don't mind, Jerry, if you don't mind, I'd just as soon drop the whole subject.
Sure, Dean. But first I got to tell you, you don't have to worry about those other singers, because in my book, you're the greatest of them all, buddy. And I mean it. You got something that's really different. It sets you apart from all the rest. No kidding. You got something that's really terrific.
Well, that's very sweet of you, Jerry. Tell me, what do I have that's so wonderful?
Me?
Now, you listen here, Jerry. I really do think you ought to start acting your age. You must make a terrible impression on girls.
Oh, no, I don't, Dean. In fact, I always know the right thing to do. Last night I took a girl to a dance, and I even wired her some flowers.
Sounds wonderful. Did you dance every dance?
Oh, we couldn't. The flowers are wired to her legs.
I give up. I'm through arguing with you. Besides, it's time we introduce our first guest this evening. Tell me, do you know who it's going to be?
Well, that great food expert, Conrad Van Crunch, was supposed to visit us again, but we just heard that he won't be here.
Well, we don't seem to have a guest here, unless you'd like to take Von Crunch's place.
Deanie boy, I think that would be splendid Cardinal Sterling and definitely Peachy Keen.
All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, it becomes my pleasure to welcome back that international gourmet and author of the best-selling book, Through Darkest America with Knife and Fork. Herr Conrad von Crunch, how are you? How are you today, sir?
Ah, the whole stomach is upset. I feel all nervous, like I have butterflies in my stomach.
Well, that's too bad. What'd you have for dinner?
Butterflies?
Herr von Crunch, you've been all over the world. Tell me, in your travels, did you have any strange dining experiences?
Well, once when I was visiting Baghdad, I stopped in a little place. It was a sidewalk cafe.
A sidewalk cafe. And what was their specialty?
French fried sidewalks.
Now, that's ridiculous. How can anyone eat a sidewalk?
Don't be silly. It's no different than eating a driveway.
Well, tell me, what else was on the menu?
They served me some soup. But I found something in it.
Was it a hare, Herr von Crunch?
No, it was... What did you say?
I asked, was it a hare, Herr von Crunch?
No, it was a noodle, Mr. Martin.
Where'd you dig up the noodle?
The same place you dug up the hair, Selma.
Herr von Crunch, our time is running out, but before you go on, what was the strangest meal you ever ate?
The strangest meal I ever ate was in the wilds of Africa. I was dining with a Ubangi chief, and he served me a family dinner.
What did the family dinner consist of?
A father, a mother, and 2 little children.
Now, that was incredible.
No, that was Africa.
Well, as Herr von Crunch fades into oblivion, there emerges before our eyes the handsome figure of Jimmy Wallington.
Well, thank you, Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, every day you hear more and more about an incredibly fast way to relieve the pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. It's Anacin, A-N-A-C-I-N. Now, the reason Anacin is so wonderfully fast-acting and effective is this. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people have received envelopes containing Anacin tablets from their own dentist or physician, and in this way discovered the incredibly fast relief Anacin brings from pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. So the next time a headache strikes, take Anacin, A-N-A-C-I-N. Anacin in handy boxes of 12 and 30. Economical family-size bottles of 50 and 100. Ask for Anacin at any drug counter. And now here's something of interest to everybody.
For breathless moments, for your breathless moments.
Chew Dentine, the gum with breathtaking flavor.
Dentine tastes so good.
Dentine freshens your breath.
Dentine helps keep your teeth sparkling, clean, and white.
Dentine, the gum with breathtaking flavor.
Before you go out, and always after eating, drinking, smoking, refresh your breath with Dentine. You'll love Dentine chewing gum, for Dentine has a wonderful, tingling, nippy flavor that lingers on and on. It's delicious. And remember, Dentine helps keep your teeth white, too. Keep Dentine handy. You'll enjoy refreshing your breath when you chew Dentine.
So, for breathless moments, for your breathless moments,
chew Dentine, the gum with breathtaking flavor.
Ladies and gentlemen, it now becomes my privilege to introduce our guest of the evening. He's a gentleman we've enjoyed in many stage plays, on the radio, and in countless motion pictures. So here he is. A very fine actor and the world's greatest connoisseur of chills and thrills. The one and only, Mr. Boris Karloff, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Dean, for that very kind introduction.
Well, Boris, I meant every word of it.
Well, this is very reassuring to me. You see, in spite of the fiendish parts that I play in pictures, I'm really a kind and mild-mannered man. In fact, I'm as soft-hearted and gentle a man as you could ever meet. Don't I appear that way? Dean, why don't you answer?
I can't. You're choking me.
I'm so sorry, Dean. Force of habit, you know.
Hey, Dean, I just had it. All right, buddy, it's 2 miles to the cemetery.
Cemetery? I'm not dead.
You're not dead?
No, but I'm enormously interested in people who are.
Hey, you know something? For a minute, I thought you was Boris Karloff, and I got scared. Boy, that guy really scares me. Gosh, imagine me thinking you was Karloff.
I am Boris Karloff.
Jerry, how can you fail to recognize Boris Karloff?
Gosh, Mr. Karloff, I've seen all those movies you make, and you always look so weird and horrible. Your face is so frightening. You look like a regular monster.
Now, wait a minute, Jerry. It's the makeup that makes me look like a monster.
Oh, I see.
Now, tell me, what's your excuse?
Hey, that was pretty good, Boris. I mean, you're supposed to be a dramatic actor. Dean, we couldn't get Peter Lorre.
Now, Jerry, that's no way to talk to a fine actor like Mr. Karloff.
Oh, I was only fooling, Dean. I'm Mr. Karloff, honestly. I've seen all those pictures where you play ghouls and werewolves and things. In fact, maybe you can tell me something.
Oh, I'd be delighted.
Is it true that once a year you have to renew your haunting license?
Well,
I mean, do you really spook only when you're spoken to?
Oh, stop it, Jer. In real life, Mr. Karloff is just as normal as you.
Here now, I won't have you insulting our guest.
Boris, I really should apologize for Jerry. He can be real nice when he wants to. He just has to be pushed.
Well, if he has to be pushed, I suggest it be from the highest possible altitude.
Yes. Now, you see how angry you made our guest, Jerry? Don't forget Mr. Karloff played Frankenstein.
What's so wonderful about that? I played Frankenstein, too.
You played Frankenstein, the monster?
No, Frankenstein the butcher. He got the cards full of chicken fat.
Jerry.
Dean, how long must I stand here and be heckled by this animated skeleton?
Boris, you just can't insult Jerry. I don't think he knows what a skeleton is.
I do so, too. A skeleton is nothing but a pack of bones with the people scraped off.
See what I mean? Do you see what I mean, boy?
Well, it's all in fun. Now, if the truth is known, I've admired you for a long time. Do you know, I saw your latest picture, Sailor Beware, and laughed some fella's head off.
Have you seen all our pictures, Mr. Karloff?
Yes, indeed. And ever since I saw That's My Boy, I've had a secret desire to play your father in a motion picture.
Hey, that sounds intriguing. Boris Karloff playing the father in one of our pictures. Let's find out, Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are proud to present Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, and Boris Karloff in that homespun story of the supernatural entitled Just Plain Dracula. Our scene is the typical suburban dungeon of an average family, of werewolves. As we look in on this quaint little home, Frank, the oldest son, is just returning from school.
Well, here I am. Might as well go in. Anybody home?
Well, hello, Frank. I'm glad you're home. Just go into the kitchen. I think your mother left you some cold meat.
That's nice. Anybody I know?
You're beginning to sound just like your brother Herbie.
Oh, gee, Dad. What are we going to do about Herbie? I don't think he likes being a werewolf.
No, I'm afraid he's the white sheep of the family.
Shh, here comes Herbie now. He seems excited.
Hey, hello. I was just playing baseball, and you'll never guess what happened.
Well, tell me.
Well, the game was all tied up. It was the last inning. We had 2 men on, and it was my turn at bat. The pitcher threw the ball, and just as I swung my bat...
The game was called?
No, the bat flew away.
Well, that's just too bad.
You know something, Dad? I feel different from the other little boys.
I knew it all the time, Dad. He's just ashamed of his family.
You have too much time to think, Herbie. Now, what you need is a job. Perhaps you should work with your uncles down at the bank.
But I don't like to handle money.
Who mentioned money? I mean the blood bank.
I don't want to work there. And another thing, I'm getting pretty sick of taking children to school every day.
But all the big boys take children to school every day.
In a lunchbox?
Herbie, you must learn to be proud of your people. I'm a werewolf, and I love it. In the dead of night, I love to prowl around gravestones. I like to beat and strangle. You see, my son, I revel in blood and death and broken bones.
Gee, Dad, you're cute.
Herbie, you must learn to accept things like your brother Frank. He's happy as he is. And look how all the girls go for him.
That's right. You'd be surprised how many girls lose their heads over me. Herbie, it's no wonder... Herbie, it's no wonder you're a lousy werewolf. You're a sissy.
I am not a sissy. Just for that, I'm going over to my girlfriend's father, and I'm going to ask for her hand.
Anybody can ask for a girl's hand.
Clear up to the elbow.
No use talking to him, Dad. I'm going to turn on the radio.
Good idea, Frank. It's time for John's other ghoul. You hear that, my son?
Gee, Dad, they're playing our tune.
Why, son, you do care.
Well, welcome back to the Werewolves, Herbie. Let's sing our anthem.
All right, boys, sound your A.
Oh! Oh!
Go days, here along we go days.
Spooking and haunting, we're on the run. Though we're not human, we still have fun.
I am a werewolf 12 feet tall.
I never walk when I can crawl.
And I am the biggest creep of all.
Cause we are a trio of ghouls.
I feel so spooky.
Cause we are a trio of ghouls.
That was real great, Dean. Boy, I love everything about the West. I'll never forget the last time I was on a horse. It was wonderful. They couldn't get me off.
The horse caught your fancy?
No, the stirrup caught my foot.
Oh.
Excuse me, boys, but I'd just like to bid you both good night.
Well, Boris, I trust you enjoyed your visit.
I certainly did. I found your partner quite engaging. Something's been troubling me for years, but after what I learned by watching Jerry tonight, I'm completely relieved.
Hey, that's wonderful, Mr. Karloff. Tell us, what did you learn by watching me tonight?
I am not the most gruesome man alive.
Boris, I agree with you. Seriously, we've really enjoyed having you with us on our show.
Yes, we did. And all kidding on the other side, Mr. Karloff, you've been a swell guest, and I hope you'll come back again real soon.
Thank you, boys, and good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, Mr. Karloff. And ladies and gentlemen, we've been asked to give you a message of utmost importance. The American Cancer Society is now in the midst of its 1952 Cancer Crusade, and funds are urgently needed to help the ACS carry on its vital programs of research, education, and service to the cancer patient. Strike back against cancer by giving generously to your unit of the American Cancer Society. Mail your contribution today to Cancer, C-A-N-C-E-R, in care of your local post office. Our listeners have been so wonderful in their response to our pleas for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and we hope you will give ACS the same wonderful consideration. So please, mail those contributions to Cancer, C-A-N-C-E-R, in care of your local post office.
So, until next week, this is Dean Martin.
And Jerry Lewis reminding you that our current picture, Sailor Beware, may now be seen at your local theaters. Until we see you, good night, everyone.
Yeah.